And here we go. What's going on, everybody? My name is Bloodstone. Ladies and gentlemen, Marvel Rivals has gone ahead and cooked up an absolutely fantastic update for season 6.5 with the arrival of a brand new season, or I guess midway season. As always, we are getting a brand new character in Elsa Bloodstone. We now know that she will indeed be a duelist, and she looks really freaking cool. I'm actually very pleasantly surprised by the gameplay showcase for her. On top of that, we have not one but two events where we will be able to earn free units, so make sure to pay attention during that segment. On top of that, we've got a ton of buffs and nerfs to talk about, and even some team-ups. So with all that in mind, you guys know the drill. If you do enjoy today's update video, take a quick moment and leave a like. Thank you guys so very much for your kindness and your continued support. And without further ado, let's dive into the news.
You called a monster hunter, mate?
So let's begin with Elsa Bloodstone, our brand new duelist debuting in Marvel Rivals Season 6.5. Of course, we knew that she would be the next character, but we weren't certain as to which class she would have. It has now been officially confirmed she will be a duelist. So yes, all the people that hate how many duelists are in the game are probably going to have a little bit of a hissy fit about all of this and say that this is, you see, it always happens. They're only caring about the duelist class. Yes, I know. With that in mind, though, she looks pretty dang awesome. I think she had a very difficult task ahead of her, releasing after Deadpool, who is an extremely popular character, and on top of that, Marvel Rivals really did cook with that character. Innovating the character in general feels like the most innovative character in the entire roster in terms of the fact that he is a multi-class character, and then the whole upgrade system as well. So just a very cool design and a cool execution for the Mark with the Mouth. So I kind of felt bad for Elsa because I was like, oh, this character is probably going to feel and look pretty terrible by comparison because it's just kind of inherently most likely what would happen. But I have to say, I am very pleasantly surprised by the entirety of the revealed trailer. I particularly love how mobile the character seems to be. There's this one sequence in the trailer itself where she does this really cool combo where she kind of like bounces off or shoots at the ground to then go into a high elevation and then does a dash. I feel like that's going to add a lot of skill to how you play Elsa Bloodstone in terms of being able to use all these dashes and all this mobility to really make yourself a very difficult target to hit. So I think that's pretty dang cool. I also just in general, I'm really, really excited to give this one a go. So can't wait till the debut on Friday. And of course, in classic Marvel Rivals fashion, when we get a brand new character, that character tends to get a premium skin in the shop debuting the same day, and the same thing will be true for Elsa Bloodstone as she gets her first appearance skin, or as it will be titled, the Young Blood or the Year 1 variant. This is her very first appearance look from the Bloodstone comics back in, I think 2001, if I remember correctly, maybe 2000 even, somewhere in the ballpark, like a long time ago at this point. But this skin looks pretty dang cool, so it's also cool that it's kind of based on her first appearance, so I think that's a double kind of a significance there. This will be an epic rarity skin, so that means that you will need to spend 1,600 units in order to acquire it, so that is definitely a W in terms of the affordability factor. We also got to learn that Helen Sadler, I believe is how you pronounce her name, will be the voice of Elsa Bloodstone, so she will be the one that will be bringing the character to life. She is probably most famously known, especially of people who watch this channel, as the voice of Darth Rey from the Lego Star Wars special. So that settles it for Elsa, at least for a little while, before we get to the team-up side of things. But next, let's talk about something that everybody loves, and that is free units. We're going to be getting not one, but two events in which we'll be able to go ahead and earn ourselves some free units. First and foremost, we have a nice little celebration of Valentine's Day, as well as, of course, a celebration of Rogue and Gambit's wedding. Officially in the actual lore of the game, obviously it was kind of interrupted and disrupted by the collector. Now that we're kind of wrapping up that whole storyline within the lore of the game, they are back to get married and put up a love parade celebrating their wedding. So as part of this love parade that will be taking place on February 14th, they're going to have essentially kind of like, I guess, like a newlywed Gambit and Rogue, I guess, horse carriage / parade that will be going through the Times Square map. So you'll need to log on to Times Square on February 14th in order to participate in this. And as part of the parade itself, you'll be able to earn some free units. Now, again, is this going to be like a significant amount? Probably not. My guess is somewhere in the ballpark of a few hundred units, because that's the usual thing. But still, again, it adds up. And over time, as you get these free units, you can then turn them into skins that you can purchase. And then we're also going to get another event that doesn't have an official release date yet, but it is going to be part of the Spring Festival, where Linnea will be performing once again on the Times Square map. So it seems like that will probably be kind of the hosting ground for any of these upcoming sort of like mini little events and celebratory things. So get used to it. Get used to spending time in Times Square for these different events. And once again, as part of this celebration, essentially you're going to be able to earn like red envelopes, and then within those you're going to be able to get some free units as well. So again, massive W, free stuff. How could you go wrong with that? Since we're on the topic of free, we've got ourselves a brand new event pass that will be going live with the debut of Season 6.5, and with it, you'll be able to go ahead and earn a free Squirrel Girl skin. So that is pretty dang exciting. This is the Red Panda version of Squirrel Girl. Again, another free skin that they're giving away. I'm always going to go on ahead and give them a tip of the cap for that. They do an excellent job of giving away a ton of free stuff. Now, of course, if you're in the position and if you're interested in paying for the premium event pass, which once again, I anticipate this one to cost 990 units, which is the usual cost for these extra event passes, that will then unlock the premium path. Now, once you unlock the premium side of things, you get 2 more skins, along with a bunch of the other typical goodies that we get, like sprays and emotes and all that jazz. But the main 2 appealing elements, I guess, of the premium side of things is, of course, the Rocket skin, which looks absolutely adorable. Rocket basically dressed up in a panda outfit, taking back to the whole joke from Guardians of the Galaxy with him being a trash panda. I think that's a pretty cool design. Very, very excited for that. As someone who plays Rocket, I'm extremely excited to add this one to my collection. And then we've got the absolutely ridiculously adorable brand new Jeff Duck skin, which we knew about for probably, like 3 weeks now or so. We knew that this was going to be arriving in the game at some point. Now we know when it will be arriving, and it looks pretty dang cute. I almost wish that we would like title this one as like Psylocke Jeff or something like that, because I think that would be kind of cool, just as like a little bit of a homage to the Pokemon Psylocke, just because he does remind me a little bit of Psylocke. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree on that front, but I think that this is a great event pass. I feel like the fact that they included 3 really cool, very, very, I guess, in theme skins here works really, really well. So I will definitely be picking it up, but let me know if this is an event pass that you'll be adding to your collections on the premium side of things, or if you're just going to stick to the free version and enjoy the Squirrel Girl collectibles that are included in the free portion of the event pass. Okay, so that was a lot of exciting stuff in terms of new stuff, events, skins, free units, all that jazz. But now let's talk gameplay, because there's a lot of new stuff that is being implemented. I feel like this is more than usual for like a midway season update, because usually I feel like they don't quite make this many changes, but there's a lot of changes to both characters and team-ups, which is where we're going to start. So first and foremost, they're actually going to be removing the Fantastic Four power-up, or team-up, I should say, altogether. But fear not, Fantastic Four fans, because it seems like at least some of the characters will be spruced across a few of the other team-ups, including a brand new team-up altogether titled the Psionic Mayhem, which will see Invisible Woman act as the anchor character for Doctor Strange. Now, they have not actually, even in the official patch notes, shared what benefit will Invisible Woman gain from this. I'm expecting some sort of a buff to like her health or something along those lines, maybe her damage or healing ability, something along those lines. But in terms of the gain that Doctor Strange will be getting, it's actually pretty dang cool. So essentially his Maelstrom Madness attack, which is that kind of like explosive energy blast that he does, it will, instead of kind of like bursting energy outwards, it will still do that, but it will also magnetize enemies towards you, allowing you to kind of almost like vacuum enemies in your direction, which I think could be extremely useful, especially if you combo it with your ultimate, because essentially you could like pull enemies towards you and then cast your ult. I think that would be a really effective tactic. We'll see how good or bad it is, but it seems like a pretty good team up, at least on paper or from the little video that they have shared so far. Our brand new character Elsa Bloodstone will be joining an existing team up ability in Mr. Pool's interdimensional toy box, which of course currently consists of Deadpool and Jeff the Land Shark. Elsa will be joining that team up as well. As far as changes to Deadpool and Jeff, no changes there. The abilities remain exactly the same. Elsa will gain a new ability to her living bullets. So basically, when you fire the living bullets while you have the team up active, you will then gain essentially kind of a visual impairment, as well as the annoyance of Deadpool talking to the enemies that are getting hit by the living bullets, which I do think a lot of people have complained that, oh, it's so annoying, like the way that Deadpool will just talk and is constant and so on and so forth with some of these abilities. I'm like, well, that's the point. He's supposed to kind of like distract you and impair your decision making so that then you hopefully make a mistake. That's kind of the point of the ability. So I'm not really sure if people understand that they're complaining about what the ability is supposed to do. But regardless, the other cool effect as part of this team up is that the bullets themselves will be able to be recalled and function as a heal effect for Elsa, and that will be relative to how much damage you actually manage to do. I think that's really exciting in the sense that it seems like it will definitely help her in terms of her survivability. The Thing, on the other hand, will be joining the Gamma Charge team up, which currently consists of the Hulk and Black Panther. Again, no changes to the existing members. The Thing will go ahead and gain a Gamma Charge boost to his punches, so you're going to be able to deliver more damage as well as a greater range of attack for both your haymaker attack and the rocky jab. So I think that's pretty dang exciting. So Thing players, again, even though you're losing the Fantastic Four team up, you are gaining this new Gamma Charge team up. And finally, when it comes to Fantastic Four team ups, since obviously they're losing their main family team up, Mr. Fantastic will actually be joining the current team up between Rocket and Star-Lord, known as Rocket Network. And this one is very interesting in terms of its potential. So I think this could be actually extremely annoying to deal with. So essentially what it will allow you to do is increase your elasticity level to be able to go beyond the current 100-point cap or limit. And then as you accumulate your elasticity, you'll be able to decide when to enter your inflated state, which if you've ever fought against the Mr. Fantastic, you know how extremely powerful the inflated state is. So the fact that now you will be able to kind of like self-regulate when you want to pop and go into that form is pretty dang game-changing. Like, I genuinely think this could be probably the most powerful team up out of the new ones debuting in season 6.5. And so then we get to the main event, which of course are the actual individual character changes that will be happening across the board. And there's a lot to cover, so buckle in. Let's kick things off with the strategist side of things, and specifically with Adam Warlock. Warlock is actually going to be getting a really, really nice buff in the form of an entirely brand new ability. Warlock will now be able to go ahead and fly, so I guess you can recreate that ridiculous meme from the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 movie of him flying around. So you will be able to enter flight mode. You'll be able to travel at 10 meters per second for up to 4 seconds at full energy. We will see how effective this is in terms of giving him, I guess, just the ability to probably try to get in and out of battles a little bit more effectively, and being able to retreat out of battle in order to, you know, use your cocoon respawn mode or whatever. So I think that could be really, really interesting. So that's exciting. But then on top of that, he's also going to have a brand new effect to his soul bond, where the soul bond can now actually hover and attack during the ability's duration. So again, sounds pretty dang powerful. So I think Adam Warlock players are going to be probably the most excited from these patch notes, with maybe the exception of Storm, which we'll talk about in just a moment when we get to the Duelist. Next up though, we do have some changes to Invisible Woman, where her cooldown for the Force Physics ability will be going up from the current 8 seconds to 10 seconds, so a little bit of a nerf there. Loki will also be experiencing a nerf in the form of a reduction to the mystical missiles charges. Currently there is a charge of 12 of them, but now that will be getting brought down to 10, so that should definitely hinder your ability to both heal and deal damage. And finally, for the strategist side of things, Ultron is actually going to be getting a little bit of a buff in the form of an increase to the imperative patch drone. So currently the detach range for the drone is at 30 meters. So once a character is 30 meters away, it detaches that healing drone. But now that will actually go ahead and give you an extra 5 more meters up to 35 meters. So a nice little extra boost in terms of healing ability. Next, let's talk about the Duelist class, where we've got a slew of changes on the way. One that I'm extremely excited about, so we'll talk about that in just a moment. First, Deadpool Duelist players, you'll be happy to know that you're getting a buff to the healing amount that you gain when using your ultimate ability, Pop Quiz. It will be increasing from the current heal amount that you get of 30. That'll be going up by 5 points to 35 healing. And of course, if you have upgraded or completed the challenge portion of Deadpool's upgrades, the healing goes up to 60. Well, now it will actually go up to 70. So pretty nice little bump across the board in terms of the healing buff that you receive. So that should be pretty awesome. Moon Knight is taking a slight nerf, which I think people will be happy about, because I feel like Moon Knight's been terrorizing people in ranked. So there will be a reduction to the bonus max health that you get provided from the Moonblade. Currently, you receive 100 HP. That will be coming down to 75. Phoenix players, you're probably actually going to celebrate, because she's not getting hit with too much of a nerf. I think a lot of people in the community were expecting a pretty major nerf to Jean Grey or the Phoenix, but she will only be experiencing a base health reduction going down from 275 HP down to 250. We will see if this kind of stirs up the meta or not, but again, good news for Phoenix players, I guess, all in all. Even though it's not good news, it's good news in the scheme of things, I think. I didn't realize this, but I guess Psylocke needed a nerf. At least that's what the Marvel Rivals team seems to believe. So we're going to be experiencing two things. First and foremost, the Psionic crossbow damage fall off. Currently at 30 meters or further, you get a 60% damage fall off. That will be getting bumped up to 70%. And then on top of that, her ultimate ability is also going to experience a nerf in the reduction of a single hit damage. Currently, the single hit damage from Dance of the Butterfly is 170. That will be coming down to 160 points. So I guess kind of good news for strategists that have to deal with Psylocke diving the backline and ulting. So maybe this will give you just that slight little bit of extra HP to survive. So could be a game changer there. Squirrel Girl will be experiencing a slight buff in the form of an increased projectile speed of the Squirrel Blockade ability when unleashing, specifically without charge. So currently it travels at 20 meters per second. That will be going up to 30. So that is definitely pretty significant. I can't believe they're making this change, because I cannot stand dealing with Star-Lord's ult, but it will be a lot more common nowadays after this patch goes live, because they're reducing the energy cost of the Galactic Legend ability, which of course is Star-Lord's ultimate ability, from the current 3,400 required energy points down to 3,100. So we're definitely going to be hearing Legendary a lot more often, which yay. So next we're talking about Storm, where there's a lot of new stuff happening. It almost feels like a slight rework like we got for Jeff a little while ago. Obviously that was a lot more substantial because there were literally new abilities introduced, but this definitely seems like a pretty substantial change. So if you're a Storm player, I'm very curious to hear what you guys think of these changes. So first and foremost, the weather controlled tornado ability will be gaining a brand new effect. So using Windblade and Bolt Rush under this aura, the weather control of Tornado, you will be able to actually grant Storm bonus health. The damage will be converting at 25% of damage done converting into bonus health, up to 75 bonus health points. So seems like a really nice buff in terms of being able to like have a higher survivability there. Now on the other hand, if you're in the thunder form of her weather control, under this aura, Windblade hits will reduce Bolt Rush cooldown by 0.5 seconds, only once per cast though, so thankfully it's not actually going to stack, because I feel like that would be kind of broken. but you will also go ahead and increase the Bolt Rush spell field range from the current 1 meter up to 1.5 meters, so that doesn't seem quite as substantial of a change as the weather controlled tornado side. Now, interestingly enough, in terms of the buffs that she grants to the rest of her team, the Thunder and Lightning new effect where she has the ally buffs, so those will actually now have a decay element of 2 seconds after leaving the aura area instead of the instant vanishing. So if you stepped out of the aura area of Storm, you would immediately lose the actual ally buffs. Here, starting with this new patch, it will actually give you another 2 seconds before the buff completely decays. So again, substantial in terms of the team value of Storm, but to keep it fair, they will actually be reducing the damage boost for allies from the current 12% down to 8%, which I feel like is kind of justifiable considering that now it does have that decay value, so you will maintain that buff for a little bit longer than usual. So I feel like it does make sense to go ahead and make it slightly weaker to compensate for this new buff. Now, I'm extremely excited to report that my boy the Punisher is getting a reduced energy cost for Final Judgment, being able to cast it a lot quicker now, going down from the current 3,700 points down to 3,400, so very excited to test that out. And then as a Groot player, I'm not so excited about this news, but yes, Wolverine players, rejoice. You'll be able to hit your ult quite a bit more often because the current energy cost for Last Stand, his ultimate ability is 3,400. That is coming down by 600 energy points down to 2,800. I'm very, very interested to see if this will make Wolverine basically an instant ban going forward. And finally, let's go ahead and talk about our Vanguard or the tank changes that we can expect with Season 6.5. So starting with Doctor Strange, there will be a reduction to the shield of the Seraphim shield value recovery speed. It will be going from the current 70 recovery or 70 recovery points per second down to 60 recovery points per second. Rogue players, you'll be happy to know that she's receiving a slight buff with this update in 2 separate ways. First and foremost, there's going to be an increase to the defensive stance absorbed damage energy conversion rate. So right now, while you're in your defensive stance, that conversion rate is 0.27 for your next Southern Brawl attack, but that will be getting a slight bump up to 0.35 of your absorbed damage getting converted into follow-up buff damage for your Southern Brawl, so should allow you to probably do a little bit more of kind of like splash damage attacks, so that's pretty dang substantial. And then on top of that, they're gonna go ahead and reduce the Fatal Attraction cooldown ability timer from 17 seconds all the way down to 14 seconds, so seems pretty substantial there. Thor will be experiencing kind of a nice little 1-2 punch where he's getting a nerf and a buff. So as far as the buff is concerned, the hammer throw will be receiving a new effect where as you hit an enemy with your hammer throw, you will be able to go ahead and gain 50 bonus health, which is pretty dang awesome. It will only trigger once though per throw, even if you're hitting multiple enemies. They specifically clarified, so it's not like a stacking effect. So fear not, doesn't seem like it should be broken, but it should give you a little bit of that extra buffer in terms of survivability. But on the flip side, they are actually reducing the bonus health that you will be provided with from Storm Surge. Currently, you receive 75 HP from that. That will be coming down to 50. So I guess the idea there is to make you kind of pivot more towards relying on your hammer throw to gain that little bit of extra HP instead of an over-reliance on Storm Surge. And finally, we're talking the Lethal Protector himself, aka Eddie Brock or Venom. We'll see an increase to his base health going up from 650 to 675, so just a slight little buff there in terms of his health, but he will also be experiencing an increase to his ultimate ability or Beast of the Abyss. Currently, the damage to bonus health conversion is 1-to-1, so basically whatever damage you do, you will then recover as bonus health. Well, that will be getting bumped up to 1.3 instead. So I feel like this should substantially improve the survivability of Venom, which will probably substantially improve the annoyance of Venom as well. And so there you have it. Season 6.5 is going to be absolutely bonkers, whether it be the brand new character, the brand new events, the brand new event pass, and everything in between, including the balanced patch notes themselves, because I feel like this is a pretty substantial stir up of the meta. So I'm very curious to see how it shakes out once we actually hit the battlefield. So I cannot wait to dive in and check out all of the new changes to the game, especially when it comes to ranked play, of course. Outside of that, like always, you guys know the drill. If you did enjoy today's video, please take a quick moment and leave a like. Thank you guys so very much for your kindness and your continued support. I hope I got you guys all caught up on everything when it comes to Marvel Rivals Season 6.5. And I will, of course, hopefully see you guys here next week as we find out what they have cooked up next. Keep in mind that, of course, as I'm recording this video, there's probably a pretty good chance that they will be releasing the roadmap here very soon, because they usually do that as well, right, as a new season debuts. So hopefully we'll be learning about some of the other cosmetic skins that will be debuting down the line as the season unfolds.